Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Welcome back. So we're going to do another speedrun game before we head off to work today. And before we start, I just want to say, have you guys seen this Dr. Lupe, whatever his name is? It was the Pog Champs tournament, and this dude cheated. And I watched a video when I got home last night. It was Chess Bruh, whatever, however you say it. They made a video like was this guy cheating or whatever it was called, and I watched it. I don't know that streamer. I've never seen the guy in my life, and I also didn't know that Pog Champs was going on right now, which is terrible marketing by chess.com because I play chess every day, and even I didn't know that it was happening. So yeah, kind of crappy. And I'm surprised, honestly, with my 500 subscribers that I didn't get an invitation. So next year, bring me in. But they had a $100,000 tournament, and this guy just straight up cheated. And if you haven't looked at the games, he said that I thought about doing a whole video on it, but I'm not going to spend all day with that. But he said in the video that in the stream, he was like, later on, he made a release, like a statement on Reddit or Twitter or wherever he made it, and he said that he was looking at the other monitor and had the games open on there from other streamers or whatever it was, and he had gotten information about the moves from that he shouldn't have had access to, which is nonsense. Like, you were just cheating. Like, there was at one point he plays pawn to b4, giving away a pawn, and he doesn't like articulate at all what he's thinking of why he makes this move. The computer just said play it, so he played it. And it was just, when you're 600, you're not coming up with these ideas. I mean, is it possible that you got a brilliant move at 600? Sure. I mean, absolutely. Can you play the best move? Absolutely. Could you play 2, 3 best moves in a row? Sure. But he played 26 consecutive best moves. I'm 1,500. I'm not the best chess player in the world by any stretch, but even I'm not playing, 26 best moves in a row. I'm just not, So to be 600 and playing that well against a 1,300 rated opponent and just the sharpest position down a queen, there's no way. No way. And anyway, you should check it out, look into the game, see what you guys think. But he admitted to cheating as sorry of an excuse as he made to do it. To me, it's not like the biggest thing in the world. It is a chess game, but there was prize money on the line, and people are trying to win that money, and better their lives. And this guy's just cheating them, and it sucks. I mean, he's got money. From what I read, he's got multiple millions of dollars. Why would you cheat for a chess tournament when you're already rich? I don't know, man. Pretty crappy deal. Pretty crappy deal. I don't know the guy, but I'll for sure avoid. I don't watch that kind of stuff anyway. But if he ever does a chess thing in the future, I'll probably avoid it. So anyway, let's play our game here and not cheat. So we're gonna play the Caro Kann, e4. C6, and you should play. If your opponent gives you the center, you should take the center. The problem here is that I can take this pawn, and when he recaptures, I could take this. When he comes over, I have this check. Let's see. He could block either one of these ways. I am going to take. And I guess we will trade queens right out of the gate here and see how this goes. If I have the opportunity to trade, what is this? So he's going to give me, okay. If he recaptures now, okay, yeah. So, all right. Well, let's start with the knight out. And already you've got this weakness here. Now I would have, maybe I should have considered this. maybe not. All right. So I could play this and harass the queen. Also, I have this. When he takes, I could play that check. Yeah, but then that's defended, so I can't actually do that. I have this move, hitting the queen. That seems like a fairly likely move here. Well, the bishop needs to get outside the pawn chain. This is going to force him probably to play this, which, you know, I mean, we could hit it again with this. He would have to play bishop here to defend it. That's a strange move, I think. I have this, which does threaten the queen. I have this, and how do you defend your rook? If you step that in the way, I take it. I think that this is a reasonable move, but I feel like I'm missing something. Like, I feel like there's something that I'm missing. But I'm going to play it. We're going to play it. This move doesn't help because you just lose it. Now, this move actually may be a thing, because then if I take, you play that. Well, then I would take this. Yeah, I mean, this looks to be like you're just going to lose a rook. But you don't want to push your f-pawn. And, you know, this is the reason, right? You don't want to weaken all this. This, though, is really the reason you're in trouble. You have to, when you play these fianchetto style... so I think here, I should take here, threatening the trade and the... what do you call it? Because I'm going to be up material, and I think now you go ahead and you cash in, and you get, you know, material off the board. Because I'm up a knight now. So if you try to save this, well, you could go here. But then you're super duper passive. Which is fine with me. But if you do go there, I think you get mated, right? He does have that, but then you lose this. So, yeah, it's real bad here. But what I was saying is, when you play this move, when you make a a hole for your fianchetto, right? You have to make sure that your bishop is going to get on that diagonal before your opponent's pieces. See, now this, what is this, right? If you come here, who cares? That's not scary. Now, maybe you could take this. If I play here and you play here, I could keep him out of there, right? Like that. I could also play this. Now, all right. Let's say I play this. If he saves the rook, then I play this check. He's going to be forced to step forward. Then I play this check. Check, He steps forward. If I played that check, he could block like that. So I feel like this move here, defending the entry of the queen, is probably the right idea. He can't exactly kick me off this square. But if I play here, right, and he slides over, then I play this check, and when he steps forward, then I can take that. I also could hit the queen right now, and if he tries to come in down here, I feel like the knight in the center is better. It's going to let him save his rook. But then I play here. He comes up. I take. We don't want to allow anything catastrophic ourselves here, is the point. Right? So we're winning, but we can't let that queen get down here and take this pawn. Now, it might have been better to play this, but the reason that I ruled that out is because he could play that and take the knight, and then that square is under attack again. So play this. That defends the entry here. The knight is defended by the rook, so he can't go here, here, here. He can't take that. He can't go here or here. So we've limited what the queen can do, and he's still under all kinds of pressure here. Now this move, yeah, that drops that. The bishop can't move. The rook is hanging now, and there's no threat of me losing anything on this diagonal. You've always got to keep in your mind what it is that your opponent wants as well, right? So like when he played this move, you have to ask why he played it, and it's so he can come here and take this. If I go here now, then I'm threatening to play that. Now he wants to play here, adding more pressure there. I do have this, but then he might play here and he gets a trade. So let's take the rook. That rook is free. Now, I can come back if I need to. So if he played here, I do have this redefending the bishop. Yeah, so he's added more pressure. He's added, more to the square. But I think that this just loses the game. Because again, I'm not worried. If you bring that bishop in there, I don't have to take that bishop. So I'm thinking this. This is not scary. That's pinned, so let's go ahead and win that. And if he drops the bishop, the queen back to defend it, I'm going to take it anyway. But notice, though, he could potentially end up on this diagonal, and I've brought my queen out, and I'm running all over the board with the queen, so I've got to be careful here. And this move to let the bishop out gives him access to this and then checkmate potentially. So you got to be careful here. You got to be careful. This isn't a pin. He's trying to get castled. I'm going to take that. Now this stops him from being able to castle. Now this is something now that I have to take into account because that's a problem. And notice here, we're not rushing forward with this and potentially hanging this guy. That's important. I have this. If I play here, he could go there. But then I could play that. But then takes that. I do like this to hit that queen. And where does the queen go? What I don't want is to, well, actually I could play this because he can't go there because of the bishop, actually. But he's hitting that. I'm not so worried about winning more material here. This hits the queen. I'm going to play here and hit that queen. He doesn't have access to any of these squares. So that's his source of counterplay. I'm up in material, significantly so. But I need to get this queen out of my business so that I can castle. Or get my king somehow out of the center of the board. And I can't play this and let him just sit here on that. So I'd like to do it with this pawn, but I can't because he could play that. So, maybe this comes. I'm sorry? Isn't that just free? Ouch. So, I think if I play here, he could just come back. I'm not trying to repeat moves with this guy. So, the problem with this in-between move is that I could play here. This defends the queen and then lets me bring the knight back to safety. So, let's play this. Put the question back to him. Yeah. And then Just bring the knight in, I guess, right? There's also this. Just castling. But I don't really want to do that. I don't want to do that. So let's play that. Nice outpost square. Redefend that. And then maybe, you know, this. Get the bishop out. Get castled. Because like I say in all these videos, you know, when you're up an overwhelming amount of material like this, like, and we are up an overwhelming material. A queen, a rook, and I think a bishop. Like, we're up a lot of material. So, how do you lose this? You've got to make a mistake. You have to make a catastrophic error. And what does that look like? Back rank mate. You know, getting your queen walked out into the center of the board. My camera's way off to the side, man. So, to avoid that, let's just do this, and we'll castle. And then once we're castled, best of luck beating us. If he plays this, I think I'll just play here and stop this move. Because what he wants is to... So, I'm up all this material. Now, I could take here, and that's going to force him back over to here. So let's walk through this. Here, that, and I don't have another check. I could take this guy, and when he takes, just develop and castle. And then I'm up 2 rooks and a knight. Because you can't take this shit home with you, right? I have that. I like this move, really. And I know that, you know, he'll just walk over here. But then maybe you play that. Because he's not threatening anything here, really. Maybe that. Yeah, let's just take this. I'm going to play it here in castle. I like that I could get on this diagonal hitting this weak pawn. That's the reason I chose this square over this. Because the bishop needs to be looking this way. I don't think it does me a lot of good to go here staring at this pawn chain. But the main thing is to just get my king out of the center of the board, and then we'll start opening this stuff up and go from there. Again, I'm not terribly worried about my queen here. If push came, like if he plays this, take it. Well, I mean, if he played that, I would just take the damn thing. But, you know, if he played something like this, I'm just going to take it. And if he takes with the rook, I'll take the damn rook. And then just leave him up a knight, you know? Or, I mean, down 1 knight versus everything else that I have. So, like, really, I could probably have danced my d7 knight up to, like, c5, e4, and targeted his knight, something like that. I mean, that may have been better, but just don't lose. You know, that's where we're at here. Just don't lose. Just don't lose the game. Get your king out of the center. Don't let anything crazy happen. And you'll win, you know. So he liberates the knight again. Or frees the knight, however you want to look at it. I got this, and maybe he could play here. I don't know. I don't know what his plan is, but mine's getting the hell out of the center of that board. Now this move here. So I could take it this way, or I could take it this way. Generally, I don't think you want to weaken your pawn structure. However, in this instance, I could take that and put a rook over here. And it also defends that square. So let's take like this. So now the knight doesn't have access to that. I know the queen's here right now, but if the queen moves, I still like to have an eye on that. But we're just going to put a rook here, facing the king, and start some kind of a mating net here. That drops a pawn. But more importantly, let's play this, because this threatens to win a bishop. So he has to make some kind of a concession here, which maybe it could be that, I guess, because I can't take this. I go here. The only way to stay in contact with that would be to go to one of those two squares. So I'm threatening right now to play check, discover check from the rook here, and then win his bishop. Okay. So we'll go ahead now and take that. And now, more pressure. That opens up this. There's a pin here. And it's starting to get scary. This forks the king and the rook. So let's go ahead and play this. We'll get that off the board. And that's even worse because it comes with a check. And there's definitely a checkmate somewhere in here. Is it this? Yeah. Good game. All right, so let's have a look at the game here. So straight away, this is not great. You don't want to push your f-pawn. You certainly don't want to push all your kingside pawns, you know, like this and have this big weakness on, you know. You definitely don't want to do that here. You know, the better move, if you go all the way back, top engine move, d4. If I'm going to give you the center, you should take it. We get this. He plays here. Top engine move is to take. Am I getting the computer analysis? Yeah. All right. Yeah, and that's a mistake. We take, win an extra pawn. And they want me to fianchetto, but I just get the knight out. That comes with tempo. All right. And then that's the best move. Get on this diagonal and hit the rook. All right. That just drops a knight. That drops. Oh. I lost all that advantage. So if I play here and he plays that, then what do I do? Here, here, check, here, here. He's getting mated. Huh. All right, well, look, I just stopped him from bringing the queen in. I didn't see that there was a potential mate there. So we win that. He plays here. I target the bishop. Take it. Get out of there. I don't take the free pawn because I want to start. I want to try to, like I said, I want to get my king to safety. And then that just straight up gives away a queen. Now this move here, I just play check, pass the move back to him, and then I save the knight. So here, again, just trying to get developed, man. Try to keep my king safe. So, okay, he goes back. Again, I'm not weakening these pawns here. I'm not creating weaknesses for him to target. So, do that. Getting that bishop involved, to me, is more important than this. And again, it's not the best move. It's not the top engine move. But you see how hard it is to checkmate me once I castle. And now these rooks are in the game. And watch now how this attack just rages. He plays this, and I take. And I've opened up a file now for my rook as a byproduct of having castle. This is why it's so important to castle. You're getting your king to safety, and you cut out all the silly mistakes that you could have made that would get you checkmated. Those little tricks are gone now, but also important is that your rooks are now involved in the game. So he comes over, I slide the rook over, threatening a discovery, right? This threatens to win your bishop because of this check. I expose the check from the rook, and I take the bishop. So this rook move is actually an attack on this bishop. So he avoids it, and I take that, and now I'm, look, this pawn structure that you've got over here was kind of, it could be something you get rolling down the board. I take this, soften this up, and now I'm going to start trying to launch an attack on you over here. That's the reason that I took that. He goes here. I bring this in. At worst case scenario here, this is a pin. And I am going to win one of these two pieces. And when you're up material, you want to get stuff off the board. So I play here. He does this. It's mate in one. I'm an idiot. And I fork him. Takes, so check. He steps over. That's the discovered check from the rook on the E file. Right? That's why you want rooks on open files. And when he goes here, then he just walks into a checkmate. So, anyway, I feel like that was a pretty good game. Pretty instructive. I played 98%. So we did do good in that game. But anyway, hope you guys learned something. Castle your damn kings. Get out of the center of the board. And like, comment, subscribe, all the things. And I'll see you on the next video. Also, by the way, I had a subscription for a year for that AI generating thing that does my thumbnails. I doubt that I'm going to resubscribe to it. It was like $100, $90, I think is what it was for a year. I don't know that I'm going to resubscribe to it. I got this Meta AI thing, and I'm going to play with that and see how I like the thumbnails. So the thumbnails are going to look a little bit different over the next little bit. So we'll play with those, see what we can come up with. If they're stupid and they suck and I hate them, we'll just get the other thing back and be done with it. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Get out of here. See y'all later.